Jerry Sapan. I'm here at the DSEI Japan show for 2023. That's the Defense and Security Equipment International Show. I'm here to ask some questions of Tristan, who is of the Aeralis company. Interesting, unique product here. Tristan, can you talk about the Aeralis modular aircraft and how can it be repurposed and converted for multifunction uses?
Sure, thanks Jerry. Aeralis is all about a common core fuselage which stays the same, but you can change the wing and the engine and some of the avionics to generate different kinds of aircraft, but all keeping the same fuselage. And what that does is it generates a fleet of aeroplanes that all do a range of different jobs whilst having the same infrastructure across that fleet to support it. And because the core fuselage is the same in every case, you rationalize your spare parts, your training system, your procurement system, your logistics system significantly. And that reduces hugely the life cycle costs of the fleet for the customer. So if you are a defense department, you can procure a fleet of aeroplanes at a much cheaper cost and support them at a much cheaper cost than you can using today's aircraft.
Fantastic. Interesting concept. Thank you for that insight. Aeralis recently signed an agreement with Shinmaiwa. Can you discuss the contents of that?
Sure. We're starting a journey with Shinmaiwa for exchange of knowledge and know-how on the digital enterprise that is behind the aircraft system. So you can imagine when you're making a highly flexible aircraft system, you need a very strong digital system that controls the design process, the manufacturing process, the support process to make sure the aircraft system is well configured and can be certified quickly. And that's a very new concept in aerospace. And so we're going to help Shinmaiwa understand how that digital enterprise is put together so that they can apply that same model to some of their other programs.
I see you have initial support from the Ministry of Defence in the UK. Do you have any further support coming down the line?
We have a multi-year contract with the UK MOD and the Royal Air Force to understand the benefits of the modular approach of the aircraft for the UK's future requirements. That starts with the open architecture avionics that are pyramid compliant, so that's a UK defence standard, that allows the avionics to be reconfigured without recertifying the avionics system. And then also more broadly to understand again how the digital enterprise gets put together to develop a whole aircraft program through life in a very connected way compared with the piecemeal way that it's done today, so that again the UK MOD can understand how that can be applied into programs like the Global Combat Aircraft Program.
As an innovative UK SME, what brings you to Japan and why is the DSEI Japan a worthwhile place to exhibit?
That's a great question. We're aware that in the Asian market there is an upcoming fleet replacement requirement to replace training aircraft, but also other kinds of aircraft that is coming very soon. And we very much have a model where we want international partners to collaborate in the program so that they develop the aircraft with us, and that makes the aircraft much more saleable overseas. And particularly for the Japan market, having Japanese aerostructures companies, avionics companies, systems companies involved in the program now allows us to actually produce a predominantly Japanese aircraft that's going to be much more relevant for Japan's requirements in the future, for them to have their own system that they can control in the future for their own air force's requirements. And that's a key differentiator versus what they have as an alternative, which is just to buy solutions from overseas.
Can you please talk about your new service model for the defense aerospace sector, and are there examples of this model in other sectors?
The service model is a big opportunity for defence in our opinion. The ability to buy aircraft commercially and then operate them commercially on behalf of the military, we believe will be a much more affordable way for defence departments to get access to aircraft at a totally different price in the future, just as has happened in the civil sector. And this model, as I've just mentioned, is alive and well in the commercial aircraft sector and is indeed the predominant model now in commercial aircraft. And that's why we believe this will happen in defence.
And the modular concept.
It's the servitization of the aircraft.
The servitization, okay.
Yeah. And when you have a modular aircraft, that means that a commercial company can effectively take the aircraft system and servitize it across a really big market. So not just attacking, let's say, a training market, they can also attack an operational market for tactical tanking or surveillance or operational training as well, using the same aircraft whilst controlling the simplification of the fleet to reduce their cost. And that makes it commercially much stronger for service providers in the future. And that's where we believe the growth is going to be in this sector.
I see that your aircraft is yet to fly. Do you have a date for when this will have its first flight?
What we're doing is the program is a flexible program, it's a modular program that's being aligned with the procurement programs of a number of air forces around the world because it's a flexible aeroplane. And not only that, aligning it with the market entry of service providers offering this as a service into the market as well. So there is a range of dates that the program is aligned with because of this flexibility that will see this capability come into the market into the late 2020s and early 2030s.
Finally, if a modular aircraft for the defense aerospace industry was such a good idea, why has nobody done it so far?
Another great question. So the simple answer to that is the defense sector has typically grown up historically by getting a single requirement from the military customer that it focuses on a specific capability, and then the industry answers that question and provides an aircraft that meets that capability. But I think since defense budgets have become challenged, militaries have to do more with less. It's now time to challenge that and start to design the equipment from a commercial perspective. So making it more flexible, servitizing the aeroplane for it to be able to meet a range of requirements that even the customer doesn't know they need yet. That's the mind shift. And so it's changing from the old model now to the new model, which is where we are now at.
Well, great. Thank you very much for your answers to those questions, Mr. Tristan Crawford of Aeralis Corporation. Best of luck to you in your future success. Thank you.
The Aeralis aircraft system. The common core fuselage is the center of the system, and it has a modular cockpit so that you can have two seats, single seat, or even an autonomous module so the aircraft is uncrewed. The common core fuselage stays the same. We've changed the wing to have a high altitude, long range wing. Or over here we have the high performance advanced jet training wing. And then underneath you can see here the propulsion module for which we have the global patent. And this is the twin engine solution, it's a single engine solution. And we can extend the fuselage with this plug here to insert fuel or equipment and to control the control and stability of the aircraft. And together with that we can produce a range of different aircraft variants, from basic trainer, advanced trainer, lead and fighter trainer, but also operational roles, tactical tanking, information surveillance and reconnaissance, and aggressor and red air. And going back to the going to market model, as we've spoken about before, the ability for a commercial company to own this toolkit and provide it as a service to the market allows the service provider to really rationalize the asset and offer a very flexible capability to whichever air forces need access to aircraft on a service basis. And that's where we really see an exciting future for this aircraft system.
Thank you once again.